so I appreciate the film. Congratulations, it was just phenomenal. But I especially appreciate the fact that you pointed out that we can other the otherers and can make it seem as those people over there, when, as you suggest, we are all responsible and we are all guilty. And we can other people on the basis of race, we can other people on the basis of hair, and on the basis of how dark or how light I am, we can other people on the basis of class. And so this is a human struggle, and unless we're intentional, we can all be a part of the problem. I think one of the points that I want to make with regard to this film is to recognize that that genocide was not simply then, but genocide is now. And so that there are genocides that are going on in the world even as we speak. And so I come to this issue more as an activist, and actually began to dip my toe in the activist waters around Rwanda. It was actually in September of 1994 that we had an event here specifically lifting up the crisis in Rwanda. But it wasn't until Sudan happened that I jumped in with both feet, and so I found myself as an activist. I'm a physician by training, and so when you talk about how this changes your life, for me it transformed my life, and I retired from my practice so that this is what I do on a full-time basis.
You've worked a lot around Darfur.
I have Darfur in South Sudan. And there are many things that I've learned in this role as an activist, and I've never sent an email or made a phone call, or certainly have not organized a protest rally, but I've learned many things in this work. One is that I don't need to be a voice for Sudanese people. I just need to give them a mic, and people who are affected can speak for themselves. I have learned that change and changing a paradigm is not for the nimble-minded or the weak-hearted. It takes a lot of work. And so the same things that fueled Rwanda are alive and well with us today. And to change it, and to say no, not on my watch, and make that for real, it's going to be, it could take generations. But it requires people who will say, as long as it takes, that's how long we'll work at this until we can affect change.
All of you are committed, obviously, to an extraordinary degree to engage in the type of work that you do, whether it be filmmaking, or whether it be activism, or academia, and so on and so forth. The whole notion of making an impact is accented in many ways recently by the promulgation of the Coney 2000 film. Now, here's a question about the Coney 2000 film in the context of what we're talking about here. Though it addressed issues of the Lord's Resistance Army, for example, in Uganda, and the atrocities occurring in Uganda, Sudan, Central African Republic, so on and so forth, it's heavily criticized as being being a sort of great white hope type of imagery of a young man creating a film that focuses as much on him as it focuses on Uganda. So the question is, what's the grand bargain here? How do you propagate a message as powerful as one as, for example, the genocide in Rwanda, which we don't want people to forget, and at the same time prevent the type of thing which has occurred with a Coney 2000 type of film, if some of the filmmakers here would like to answer that perhaps, and our academicians as well.
Yeah. You do it with humility. It's real simple. There are a lot of people who travel the world, go to Africa, Cambodia, all these places, and they shove microphones in people's faces and ask them how much have they suffered. And And they use their suffering as a way to make their documentaries and tell their stories and write powerful articles. How much have you suffered? Who died? They don't walk into these people's places and see them as subjects rather than objects. And they say, how are you? What do you want to talk about? We got these stories for Kinyarwanda because we went in there with the humility. I wasn't an expert on their life or their culture. I listened. There's very little humility in the process. There's very little humility in that Kone 2000 video. It's about him. It's not about the people. When you humble yourself to the process of learning someone else's culture, you'll be very surprised at what other stories you might hear. Look, working from the bottom up, looking at people with their level of respect and admiration as opposed to looking down, you will not get to their humanity if you're looking down at them. And as a filmmaker, as a writer, as a storyteller, one of the first things, I teach film as well. You can't write bad characters. If you write a bad character, you're a bad guy. Now, what is that actor supposed to do with that? He's going to believe in whatever he believes in. If he wants to take over the world, he's going to do everything in his power to take over the world. He's not going to think of it as a bad thing. The world owes him. You don't write bad characters or good characters. You write real characters who are acting out things that they believe in. And when you walk into a situation and you see bad, or you see below, or you see evil, you cannot have a dialogue. Ask any psychologist. You cannot have a truthful dialogue. If I'm judging you upon entering the conversation, we cannot grow together.
Maybe I'll deviate a little bit. As a survivor, let me tell you about what does it feel. Politics, films, music can be made to communicate, starting genocide and all that stuff. But it's very costly to take responsibility of the post-reconstruction process. Genocide happened when I was 14 years old. Less than that, by the way. Second time happens, there's let's say more than 1 million people being freed in genocide in 19 days. Today, we work on the post-reconstruction process, my country. So, I thought the Rwandan genocide would have enough the international community to help us to learn that this is, we should vote that genocide will not happen in any other way. Recently, we've had stuff happen in Sudan and, Joseph Kony in Uganda. I was very shocked, completely shocked. I thought the humanity, demonization would have ended with the case of Rwanda. Yesterday I went to UN. So I thought that it would have been a best practice methodology to prevent genocides that are in place. And yes, nothing happening. Those seminars, meetings, and we have the demonization system keeps going.
It keeps happening.
It keeps happening because the ideology, that's where we should start. The ideology, the propaganda of genocide, that doctors and politicians and others should have found a way to stop the propaganda, the ideology.